The world does not owe you anything, not your loyalty, not your kindness, not your effort. Every day, people will stab you with a smile. They will take what you built and call it theirs. They will whisper behind your back while pretending to toast your success. And the worst part, you won't even see it coming until it's too late. That is the brutal reality of human nature. Some call it unfair. I call it survival. You have been betrayed. You have been dismissed. You have been humiliated in ways that left scars not just on your skin, but on your soul. And if you are honest with yourself, you know this is only the beginning. The world does not reward the naive. It rewards the ones who see, the ones who learn to stand, the ones who learn from pain. This is where dark intelligence is born. Like in understand in cold beer, not in classrooms, not in textbooks, not in the hollow speeches of motivational speakers. It is born in the quiet moments when life crushes you, in the cold nights when you realize that no one will save you but yourself. Dark intelligence is the mind that transforms defeat into strategy, humiliation into awareness, fear into power. It is not about revenge. It is about foresight. It is about being untouchable in a world that thrives on the weak. Let me be clear, this is not a guide for harming innocents. This is a map for self-preservation, for rising above those who would manipulate or destroy you. It is a blueprint to sharpen your mind so that no one else can write your story while you are too distracted by emotion to notice. Trait 1 begins here. But before we get to the specifics, understand this: life is already a battlefield. And the first rule is simple. You survive by knowing the terrain, by observing the predators before they strike, by never showing the cracks in your armor. Dark intelligence starts with silence. The first law of survival, of strategy, of power. Words are weapons, and the most dangerous weapon is often the one you never see coming. You have a choice. You can speak too soon, react too quickly, reveal your hand to every opportunist in your path, and remain a victim, a pawn in someone else's game. Or you can listen, watch, learn. Collect information as if your life depends on it, because, in truth, it does. Every glance, every gesture, every word from another human carries a hidden agenda, a secret desire, a truth they don't want you to see. Machiavelli said, "He who wishes to be obeyed must know how to command without appearing to command." That is the essence of dark intelligence. Not flashy power, not reckless displays of strength. Quiet, calculating, invisible control that makes others reveal themselves while you remain untouched, untouchable, and always a step ahead. Imagine the office where colleagues smile while plotting against you, the friend who praises you while measuring how far they can push, the lover who pretends loyalty while quietly undermining trust. The naive mind sees warmth, the dark intelligence sees strategy. The predator is not always obvious. It lurks in comfort, in familiarity, in the very people you trust most. This is where you start building your armor. You learn to move like a shadow, to absorb information without revealing your intentions. You observe weaknesses, motives, desires, and you remember them. Every insult, every betrayal, every moment of humiliation is a lesson. Pain is your teacher, your mind is the student. And once you internalize this, once you practice silence as your shield, you begin to see the world differently. Every interaction becomes data. Every conflict, a test of human nature. Every failure, a blueprint for mastery. The mind that learns in silence becomes the mind that cannot be deceived. By the end of this journey, you will understand that power is not about domination. It is about awareness. It is about the quiet confidence that comes when you know the world is playing a game, and you are no longer on the board as a pawn. You are the player. You are the strategist. You are the one who sees the moves before anyone else even realizes there is a game. But silence alone is not enough. Observation alone does not guarantee survival. You must combine it with detachment, control, and patience. That is what separates the survivors from the victims, the leaders from the followers, the thinkers from the pawns. And it is exactly what we will explore in the next part. Because knowing the truth about human nature is not the end. It is only the beginning. The question is, are you ready to see the shadows behind every smile? To master the art of silence, and turn it into a weapon more powerful than anger or revenge. Your mind is about to awaken, and the first law of dark intelligence will demand that you never speak until your strategy is complete. Next, we step into trait 1, the art of silence. But once you learn this, you will begin to realize that words, once thought harmless, can be the chain that binds the unwary and the shield that protects the wise. Silence is the armor the weak rarely understand. Most people speak before thinking. They share too much. They reveal their fears, their hopes, their plans, carelessly handing their enemies a map to their own destruction. Every word is a weapon, but not every word is your own. In the wrong hands, a single sentence can become a lever of control, a knife in the dark, a chain that binds you without you even noticing. You've seen it before. The coworker who jokes about your mistakes while secretly plotting to claim credit for your work. The friend who compliments your ideas, then twists them into something that undermines you. The lover who whispers promises, but their silence after betrayal speaks louder than a shout. Words can kill trust, erase influence, and expose weakness. That is why silence is not just a strategy, it is a survival instinct. Machiavelli said, "He who speaks much is often deceived, and he who is silent avoids exposure." This is not poetic advice, it is cold, practical truth. The mind that masters silence watches, listens, and waits. It collects information as a spider collects threads, weaving a network of knowledge that others are too loud, too reactive, too naive to notice. Imagine the power in silence. In a meeting, while others argue and boast, you remain calm. Your observations sharpen. You notice the subtle hesitations, the hidden agendas, the unspoken alliances. While they exhaust themselves with chatter, you build clarity. While they fight battles of ego, you gather weapons of awareness. This is not about cowardice. It is about control. The person who speaks last, who weighs every syllable, who reveals only what is necessary, is often the one who shapes the outcome without ever raising their voice. And the world respects power more than words. It fears it too. Consider the master negotiator. While others rush to impress, they remain quiet, letting the other side reveal their position, their weaknesses, their desperation. Every word the opponent utters becomes data. Every hesitation, a window. And when the right moment arrives, a single statement, precise, calculated, and confident, changes the entire negotiation in their favor. In relationships, silence functions similarly. Most people overshare, driven by the need to be liked, loved, or accepted. They pour their thoughts into a void, hoping for connection, only to be used or dismissed. The dark intelligence understands. Sharing less keeps your power intact. Silence creates mystery. It creates respect. It builds intrigue. It forces others to reveal themselves first. Here is the subtle, almost invisible advantage of silence. It teaches restraint. It sharpens observation. It allows you to act strategically rather than react emotionally. It builds a reputation. People notice the one who does not rush to speak, who measures every response, who lets actions speak louder than empty promises. And here is the key. Silence is not passive. It is active, deliberate, and deeply psychological. It is the art of controlling the narrative without saying a single word. It is the practice of letting your enemies reveal their intentions while your own remain hidden. Silence is the shadow that moves behind every conversation, unseen but always present. A real-world example: consider a rising leader in a corporate setting. Everyone is talking, gossiping, posturing. Yet this leader says nothing. They nod, they listen, they observe. Weeks later, when a critical project is in jeopardy, they step forward, not to lecture or criticize, but with a single decisive solution. By then, they know who can be trusted, who will betray, and who will crumble under pressure. Their silence has given them knowledge, influence, and unshakable authority. Even in friendships, silence is protection. When someone tries to manipulate or provoke, the instinct of the untrained mind is to argue, to defend, to react. But the one who masters silence neither defends nor attacks. They observe, they absorb, they learn. And when action is required, it is calculated, precise, and devastating in its effectiveness, not in cruelty, but in strategy. Emotion and impulse are the enemy of strategic thinking. Every word spoken in haste is a vulnerability. Every confession of desire or fear is a doorway for exploitation. By embracing silence, you reclaim control. You dictate when and how engagement occurs. You make others chase your understanding, your insight, your attention, not the other way around. Machiavelli warned rulers that the wise man does at once what the fool does finally. The fool speaks too soon, reacts too quickly, and loses before he even understands the battlefield. The wise man waits, observes, calculates, and acts when the moment is ripe, not when emotion demands it. Silence is the first shield of dark intelligence. It is the quiet power that others cannot see but must reckon with. It is the mental discipline that transforms fear into awareness and vulnerability into control. But mastery of silence comes with a challenge. Once you speak less, you see more. But you also notice things others ignore. You see duplicity, greed, envy, and desire in places where others see only smiles. This awareness can be uncomfortable. It can make you feel isolated, cautious, hyper-aware, but it is necessary. Awareness is the first step toward empowerment. And there is a second layer hidden beneath silence: patience. Silence forces you to wait, to see the full picture, to understand the patterns, and only then, when clarity is absolute, to strike also not with violence, but with precision, strategy, and foresight. As you begin to embrace this first law, the art of silence, you will notice subtle shifts. People will underestimate you. That is good. They will try to test your boundaries. That is expected, and in time, they will reveal themselves, allowing you to act from a position of strength rather than desperation. Silence teaches you that power is not loud. Power is not immediate. Power is the invisible thread pulling the world toward your understanding, unseen, calculated, unchallenged, until it is undeniable. But silence alone is not enough to survive the complexity of human nature. To truly rise above the pawns and the manipulators, you must master the next trait: emotional detachment. Because even the quiet observer can be destroyed by impulse, by anger, by attachment. In the next part, we will learn how to turn your emotions into instruments of strategy rather than chains of weakness. And once you grasp this, you will begin to understand why almost no one in the world ever truly masters the game of survival. Emotions are the most dangerous battlefield you will ever enter. Fear, anger, envy, love, these are not just feelings. They are chains, invisible yet unbreakable, binding you to other people's agendas, to their manipulation, to the chaos of the world. Every time you act from impulse, every time you let your heart decide, you surrender control. And control is everything. You've been there before. Someone insults you, and you lash out. Someone betrays you, and you seek revenge. Someone rejects you, and you spiral into self-doubt. Every reaction, no matter how justified, is a leash they can use to lead you where they want. Emotional attachment blinds you. It fuels mistakes. It feeds predators. Machiavelli said, "He who lets passion rule his judgment will find himself ruined in every enterprise." This is not theory. This is the law of survival written in blood, etched into every story of power lost. Emotional detachment is not the absence of feeling, it is mastery over it. It is the ability to feel without being consumed, to observe without being manipulated, to respond with strategy rather than instinct. Consider the story of two business partners, both talented, both ambitious. One acts on emotion, anger flares, jealousy burns, fear paralyzes. The other observes, remains composed, masks irritation, and chooses the right moment to act. Years later, the first is bitter, defeated, and forgotten. The second is powerful, respected, and untouchable, not because they are heartless, but because they mastered their internal world while the other lost theirs to impulse. Emotional detachment begins with awareness. You must see every feeling not as truth, but as information. Fear tells you where danger lies. Anger signals injustice or threat. Desire reveals what others might use against you. Each emotion is data, not destiny. And the first step to mastering this data is naming it, understanding it, and refusing to act from it blindly. In relationships, detachment is survival. Lovers will manipulate with guilt or flattery. Friends will test loyalty with provocation. Colleagues will exploit insecurity. Without detachment, you are reactive. You argue, you beg, you fight, and in doing so, you hand power over to others. With detachment, you see the patterns, you maintain clarity, and you act from strength rather than vulnerability. Detachment is also the art of not taking things personally. Humans are selfish creatures. They lie, betray, and disappoint because it serves them, not you. Every slight, every insult, every failure is not a reflection of your value. It is a reflection of their nature. Once you accept this, you stop feeding the fire of resentment. You stop giving others control over your peace of mind. Real power is calm. Real power is patient. Real power is knowing that the world's chaos can touch you only if you allow it. The one who is emotionally detached sees the storm, but stands firm in the eye. They move through life like a shadow, aware, unshaken, precise. Here is the paradox. Detachment does not make you cold. It makes you dangerous. When others act from emotion, you act from calculation. When they lash out, you wait. When they manipulate, you observe. You are like water, flexible, adaptive, but impossible to trap. Every reaction you avoid becomes ammunition for your future strategy. Every moment you remain calm builds power that no one else can see until it is too late. Look at history. Look at leaders. Look at those who survived impossible odds. They did not rage. They did not cry. They calculated. They observed. They moved when the timing was perfect. Emotional detachment is not cruelty. It is foresight. It is survival. It is mastery of self. But mastery comes with a cost. Detachment demands vigilance. You will see betrayal, manipulation, and weakness everywhere. You will feel the weight of human selfishness pressing in. And this awareness, if unchecked, can make you cynical, cold, and lonely. That is why detachment must always be paired with purpose. The purpose of self-mastery, of protection, of strategic intelligence. You detach not to hate the world, but to navigate it successfully. Machiavelli's wisdom echoes here. A ruler must be a fox to recognize traps and a lion to frighten wolves. Detachment is your fox. It allows you to sense every trap without panicking, to see every predator without overreacting. Silence taught you to observe. Detachment teaches you to remain untouchable in the presence of observation. Together, they are the foundation of dark intelligence. By now, you should understand, your emotions are not your allies unless you master them. They are your enemies if you surrender to them. Every time you react without strategy, you become a pawn. Every time you master your reaction, you become a player. Every time you turn emotion into information, you step closer to invincibility. But even detachment has a limit. Awareness alone will not protect you from the cunning of others. To survive and thrive, you must also learn the next critical skill. Awareness of hidden motives. Because the world is full of smiles that hide daggers, compliments that conceal betrayal, and friends who are secretly enemies. In the next part, we will explore how to see through masks, how to detect hidden intentions, and how to use that knowledge to move through life with the confidence of someone who understands human nature in ways most will never see. Once you master silence and detachment, the world no longer surprises you, it reveals itself. And the revelation is only the beginning. The world is full of masks, smiles that conceal contempt, compliments that hide envy, promises that carry betrayal. Most people never see beyond the surface. They take what they are told at face value, trusting appearances, believing in words. And while they trust, they are being used. You've been there. Someone you called a friend subtly undermined you. A colleague praised your work, then quietly claimed credit. A partner whispered love, while their actions whispered a very different truth. These are not accidents. They are patterns. And only the one who sees the hidden motives can navigate them safely. Machiavelli understood this instinctively. Men are driven by self-interest, not virtue. They act for gain, not for justice. The world does not operate on fairness or morality. It operates on hidden desires, unspoken agendas, and calculated manipulation. If you want to survive, you must learn to see the truth beneath the surface. Awareness of hidden motives begins with observation. Watch not just what people say, but how they say it. Notice inconsistencies between words and actions. Detect hesitation, subtle shifts in tone, fleeting expressions. Humans cannot completely hide their intentions. They leak through body language, choices, and reactions. The question is, are you paying attention? Imagine a situation at work. A colleague seems friendly, always ready to help. But when a critical decision is made, they vanish. When an opportunity arises, they suddenly appear claiming authority. If you only trust appearances, you will be blindsided. If you are aware, you notice the pattern, you anticipate the move, and you stay 2 steps ahead. Awareness turns unpredictability into strategy. This skill is not about paranoia, it is about realism. The world is not kind to the naive. Every interaction is an exchange of power, and those who cannot see hidden motives are at a constant disadvantage. By contrast, the strategic mind learns to read between the lines, to detect manipulation before it strikes, to turn observation into advantage. Relationships, too, demand this awareness. Friends, lovers, family, they all operate with desires, biases, and agendas. Awareness does not mean mistrust everyone. It means understanding that human nature is complex, often self-serving, and rarely transparent. When you see it, you avoid traps. When you see it, you remain in control. When you see it, you act strategically. Real-life example, a top negotiator in corporate mergers does not rely on trust. They watch the subtle cues, the slight hesitation in a contract clause, the way a person frames a proposal, the timing of a compliment or concession. Every detail reveals intent. Every detail becomes leverage. Those who act blindly, believing in honesty, lose millions. Those who are aware remain untouchable. This awareness is not cold. It is practical. It is protective. It is the difference between being a pawn in someone else's game and being a strategist in your own. Fear often drives this skill. You learn to be cautious because you have been burned before, but the true power comes from understanding, not reacting. When you recognize hidden motives, you no longer fear. They are merely pieces in a game you are learning to master. Machiavelli warned rulers, a wise prince must be able to trick as men are easily tricked themselves. The lesson is simple. If you do not see the trick, you are its victim. Awareness allows you to see it, avoid it, and sometimes even turn it to your advantage. The emotional impact of mastering this skill is profound. Once you begin to see motives beneath masks, the world shifts. You no longer interpret actions at face value. You understand the currents beneath every gesture. You notice who is sincere, who is calculating, who is weak, who is dangerous. This knowledge creates confidence, calm, and an almost invisible aura of power. People feel it, they respect it, even if they cannot define it. But mastery comes with a warning. Seeing hidden motives requires honesty with yourself. You must confront your own biases, your own blind spots, your own desires. Otherwise, you will misread others, or worse, you will deceive yourself. Awareness of others is only half the equation. Awareness of self is the other half. Once you combine observation, silence, emotional detachment, and awareness of hidden motives, you begin to understand the architecture of influence. You see patterns where others see chaos. You anticipate betrayal where others are blindsided. You move with precision, not panic, and with authority, not fear. But even this is not enough to fully claim your place as a survivor rather than a pawn. To truly navigate human nature, to survive every social battlefield, you must also master the art of strategic respect and boundaries, the invisible lines that protect your power and demand recognition. In the next part, we will explore how respect is not given, it is commanded, how boundaries are not weakness, they are shields, and how learning this law separates those who are manipulated from those who manipulate, because awareness alone does not protect you. Power requires both insight and authority, and the world bows to those who combine the two. Respect is not given, it is earned. But in the world of human nature, earned is not enough. Most people mistake politeness, compliance, or charm for respect. They bow to kindness, loyalty, or talent, but respect is deeper. Respect is fear tempered by admiration. It is recognition that crossing a line will carry consequences, even if subtle. even if invisible. Boundaries are the silent walls that protect your power. They are the invisible fences others dare not cross. Without them, you are prey. People will push, manipulate, exploit, testing your limits until they find weakness. Those who fail to command respect pay the price in betrayal, exhaustion, and humiliation. Those who master boundaries are untouchable. Machiavelli wrote, "It is much safer to be feared than loved, if one must choose." This does not mean cruelty. It means authority, presence, and clarity. Boundaries are your authority made visible. They signal to the world that you are not a pawn, that your mind, time, and energy are not open to exploitation. In practical terms, this looks like saying no without guilt, withdrawing from manipulative people, and never over-explaining yourself. In social dynamics, it is maintaining composure when provoked, standing firm in your values, and refusing to negotiate your integrity. Every action you take in defense of your boundaries reinforces respect. Story: a young executive constantly exploited by colleagues finally began setting limits. He stopped answering after hours. He refused unnecessary requests. He calmly but firmly addressed betrayal in meetings. Overnight, the dynamic shifted. The same people who ignored or undermined him now approached him with deference, subtly seeking approval. Boundaries create power because they create consequence. Strategic respect also requires awareness. You must know when to yield and when to stand firm. You cannot fight every battle, nor should you. But the battles you do choose define the perception of your power. People are cautious with those whose boundaries are invisible but unbreakable. They are careful with those whose respect is earned through wisdom, observation, and calm authority. The combination of silence, detachment, awareness, and boundaries creates a formidable force. The world cannot manipulate you, cannot predict you, cannot control you unless you allow it. But even mastery of boundaries is not the final stage. To survive, to thrive, to rise above the pawns, you must also learn to move people without losing yourself. Influence without manipulation is the next skill in the hierarchy of dark intelligence. Power is subtle. You do not coerce, you do not scream, you do not demand. You guide, you suggest, you shape outcomes without revealing your hand. Influence is about nudging reality to your favor while others believe they are in control. Negotiations, friendships, leadership, they all hinge on this silent art. Machiavelli wrote, "The prince must appear a friend to all, yet remain a master over all." Influence without loss of self is mastery. You can steer situations while remaining untouchable, respected, and unseen in your strategy. The world changes constantly. Betrayal, opportunity, and chaos are inevitable. Survivors bend without breaking. They assess risk, wait for the optimal moment, and act decisively when the timing favors them. Rashness is fatal. Calculated action is lethal. Dark intelligence thrives on understanding patterns, habits, and behaviors. By studying human nature, you anticipate moves, detect deception, and remain steps ahead of every predator. Observation is the silent engine of foresight, the difference between reaction and control. Finally, the ultimate mastery is ruling yourself. Self-discipline, emotional control, and unwavering focus create invincibility. Once you command your inner world, chaos outside cannot touch you. Machiavelli said, "He who conquers himself fears nothing in the world." True power begins within. Now imagine the transformation. The person who once reacted impulsively, who trusted too easily, who was blindsided by betrayal, now moves through life with clarity. You see motives, anticipate outcomes, and act strategically. You are no longer a pawn, you are a player. You are not cruel, but you are untouchable. You are not vindictive, but you are unshakable. Dark intelligence is not a weapon for destruction. It is armor, guidance, and awareness. It allows you to navigate human nature without being consumed by it. You are wiser, not cruel. Stronger, not reckless. Smarter, not bitter. I choose strategic intelligence over emotional reaction. You are capable of mastering silence, detachment, observation, influence, and self-mastery. You are capable of surviving betrayal, navigating manipulation, and thriving in a world designed to exploit the unaware. Now step forward with clarity. Watch, learn, calculate, protect yourself. Influence strategically. And remember, the strongest people are not those who destroy. They are those who see, adapt, and rise above. If this message resonates, take action. Like this video, subscribe to the channel. Comment your affirmation below. Claim your power, not over others, but over yourself. Because true mastery begins when you rule your own mind, and the world follows your lead.